Hi, it's Abo975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Legacy version on Xbox. And this is the last video in a trilogy that rounded off a night's entertainment for me. After robbing some guys in Seoul, I came down to Alternatives to finish off the 20 wing missions I was planning to share with Meta. Currently me and Owl are waiting for Meta to come on. However, one guy does something that gets very cringy, so this warning.
Oh shit, here we go again.
I'll be honest, I had a pretty full evening on Elite Dangerous. I got back from a mining trip, I completed off 20 wing missions to share with my friends. I went down to Seoul for a bit, I managed to get some piracy done and managed to have a fun PvP fight, though I had to scarper early because, you know, I had stolen cargo on board and didn't want to lose out on that. And then I ran into a cheat. And as we all know,
there are losers, there are idiots, and then there are people who use cheats in video games.
Now this is not some hack program or something you download, this is just purely combat logging, force exit in the game during combat to avoid defeat. It's baseless and really low, it's just a really stupid thing to do because it's very obvious when you do it, the way your ship disengages from the game. Also, if you do have a crash out and you contact the other person and say, oh sorry, I crashed, let me come back and finish the fight or take the rebuy, normally people are fine with that because that's the honest reaction from a crash. If you crash, say nothing and then start hurling abuse when people question whether it was a log or not, you're kind of making it very obvious that you did cheat. Now this links back to my earlier two videos this week, and we have the guy that I robbed in the Python ended up having a fight with Owl, and after he disconnected mysteriously at under 10%, I asked him if he clogged. The GG is actually from earlier when I pirated him. I sent him a GG. So as you can see, he also blocked Dark Owl immediately. Then after I asked some questions, he blocked me as well, which is kind of a bit funny, but you know, you can tell when someone's blocked you, and I'll even show you how I knew that he blocked me. But Dark Owl had gone down there to see if he could have a fight with the guys that I'd earlier encountered and robbed one of them. They were in Seoul, they were a wing of two, and he ended up having a long drawn out fight between a Conda and his Mamba. As you can see, I said to the guy, like, why block out? Go back and take the rebuy. He was at under 10%. Now, if you legitimately crash out of a fight at under 10% hull, you should be offering the person you crash out on a rebuy at least, just out of courtesy. And 9 times out of 10, if you offer the rebuy, the person's going to say, oh no, it's fine, don't worry about it. If you front up and say, oh look, I crashed, sorry, blah blah blah. Because everyone knows Elite Dangerous is slightly unstable and crashes do happen. However, for a crash to happen at that specific point would be very unlucky. And let's take a look at Dark Owl's footage. So, as you can see, Dark Owl has lost his shields, you know, he's fighting an Anaconda and the Anaconda disappears. I love the fact that during this video, he has to stop, look to his right to accept a wing mission, because this is later on when I'm in the middle of sharing all the wing missions. So this is when Meta came on, I was in the midst of sharing 20 wing missions when this actually happened, and we had Owl in party chat like telling us this guy had logged, and there we go,
He's gone.
he almost immediately blocked Owl as soon as Owl sent him any communication whatsoever. He then decided to have a conversation with me until the point at which I asked him if he'd go back and take a rebuy, at which point he blocked me. As you can see, you can tell because when you go to add him as a friend you get an error message like this.
He's blocked you now.
But I was confident this guy was going to unblock me. He seemed like the sort of person that would keep coming back for more, wanting to get the last word in. I know the type, and I've had a lot of experience with them. Now, it's a bit of a shame because it is the guy that I robbed in the Python earlier, and which is odd because I robbed him in a Python, then he tried to jump in and attack me when I was in my Cobra versus his mate in the crate, but then he says this. Now, he never crashed when I tried to rob him in the Python. He never crashed jumping in and shooting at me when I was in my Cobra. He never crashed the multiple times I interdicted him and tried to rob him. If he was having crash out problems, it was amazing how they were only specifically at the time he was below 10%. Maybe it's just one of those crashes that only happens when he's on low hull. And again, after that comment, he blocked me again. I think he's definitely not happy with me saying that, look, you should just go and take the rebuy. But again, I've had dealings with this type of Care Bear type before. He will come back and make the last comment, and even though I haven't said anything rude or offensive, I've only politely asked him to go back and take the rebuy. I may have inferred that he's a cheat, but then that's very basically clear from the footage and the fact he's refusing to take the rebuy. And then he comes back with this, and yeah, straight starts throwing out abuse, which I find incredibly funny and incredibly cringeworthy. I mean, and the fact that he's using the abbreviations is just hilarious. The irony is not lost on me that someone claims they want to be left on their own, but was happy to jump in on a fight I was having with his wingmate. So it's fine when, you know, you're outnumbering your opponent and definitely going to win, but you're going to combat log if you lose. Yeah. Very odd, very cringy guy, very weird situation. But I had a good night. I got some robbery done, got some wing missions shared. I even had a fight with his wingmate who turned out to be a stand-up guy. But sadly, the guy in the Python and the guy that logged in this video, what a cringy guy. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching.